Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I water all my plants, and I'm going to be showing you how to fertilize your plants as well. So I will show you everything that I used and how to do that. Yeah, I'm just gonna show you how I do it right now. And if it changes in the future, or if you have recommendations on what to use as far as fertilizer, you can comment down below and let me know your thoughts and your suggestions. For watering, I do use this giant pitcher just because I can mix my fertilizer and my neem oil in here, which I do use for pest prevention. I don't use neem oil every time, however, I do use it on occasion. So what I like to use for my houseplants is the Espoma indoor houseplant food, and you don't have to measure. It already has a self-measuring spout on it. After shaking it up, you have to point the spout down. The liquid measures out on its own so that once you flip it back over, pour it in your water, there is the recommended dose, which is 1 dose per quart of water. So I don't know about you, but I have a lot of plants. And to save on the fertilizer, what I like to do is I like to water all of my plants completely. And then I will mix this into my pitcher. Then I would go in with all of the pots that I've already watered with the fertilizer water. Just so you save on money, because the first time I fertilized, I used nearly the whole bottle because I wanted the water to drain out from the pot. Just what I recommend is that you water your houseplants first, and then you go in a second time around. I know it's a lot more work, but you save a lot of money this way. You go the second time around with your fertilizer water. So also sometimes what I like to do is just for pest prevention is to go in with neem oil, and I'll also pour a little bit of neem oil as well in my fertilizer mixture. I do recommend wearing gloves while you are doing this, because I've had neem oil get on my hands and the neem oil really stinks and it doesn't wash off no matter how many times you wash your hands that first day that you use it. So do recommend having gloves. But yeah, those are all of the products that I use while I am watering. Of course, I don't do it every single time. I do it every other time I water. So about every 2 weeks or so, I go in with my fertilizer, and probably every month I go in once with the neem oil. I think that's it. So let's get to it. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to get somewhat warm water. What this is gonna do is it's going to help the neem oil kind of break down. So I'm gonna fill it up about halfway. Next, I'm going to mix 1 tablespoon in this pitcher. This smell might bother you, so you might want to do this outside, and you should also be wearing gloves. I am not, because I'm a rebel. And then next, also you want to shake these first too before you go ahead and apply it. I'm going to turn this upside down and pour it in. Oh, this stinks so bad. And then carefully, I'm gonna turn the water back on and fill it up even further, and it's going to mix itself by the water just being turned back on. And here is the mixture of neem oil and fertilizer. Oh my god, the fertilizer smells like poop. The neem oil doesn't even bother me nearly as much as the fertilizer does, but I do it because plants. So this is my Monstera deliciosa. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to check the soil before you water, because you don't want to cause rot by overwatering. If you don't know that the soil is dry by just touching it, then you can purchase something like this. It's called a moisture meter, and I got mine off of Amazon. I will link this in the description. And what you do is just stick it in the soil about that far down, not disturbing any roots, away from the root ball, and it will tell you whether or not your water is moist or dry. And as you can see, it is pretty dry. Also, I wanted to show you that I did leave this monstera inside its nursery pot. That does have drainage, but I also do keep the nursery pot inside another pot, and this is called a catch pot, or a cash pot, a catch pot. I don't know, either one of those. And it catches the water inside the catch pot. So anyway, we're just gonna water this. As you can see, I am just using a ocean spray container, bottle, whatever you want to call it. And we're just going to soak the soil from everywhere, not just from one spot. We can get all the soil wet. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna check if the soil is already running out from the pot, and if it isn't, that's okay, because eventually the water will drain out from the pot. The moisture is at an 8 now. And it's at 8 because this has a lot of drainage material inside the soil, so it's not going to be completely wet, but that's what we want to see. Okay, next we're going to be watering the Sable Blue that I got off of Steve's Leaves, I believe, and yeah. This is also in a catch pot that also has a drainage hole. This is just what I prefer, you guys. Yeah. This soil is so dry. I don't know if you could see that, but it's bone dry. And also, another way you can tell that the plant is thirsty is it will curl up like this and kind of go limp. Its leaves will. So I know this one is due for a desperate watering. So I'll lift some of the leaves up, lightly water, wait for the water to drain a little bit into the soil, and I'll keep doing that and turning it around till I soak the soil. This pot does come with a saucer. However, I like to be extra careful because, you know, accidents do happen, and I have an extra saucer underneath that. If you guys remember, this spider plant was from my sister. She gave it to me in hopes of me reviving it, and it's doing pretty good, and it even has a baby right here. So cute. Yeah, so this one is a catch pot. It doesn't have a drainage hole underneath. And I'm gonna show you that this spider plant is still in its nursery pot, if I can get it out. As you can see, there is water in there. So I don't have to water it any longer, and that's how you know it's got enough water. So another way I really like to water is I will take, if it's in a catch pot, which most of my plants are now, anyway, my house plants anyway, because it's just easier. So what I like to do for some of my plants, I like to take them out of the decorative pot and I'll place them inside of the saucer. I like to do this mainly with my peperomias just because they don't really like to be watered from the top. So this is the method that I like to use with them specifically. And here is that Pilea peperomoides that my sister also let me rehab, and it's doing really great. However, it's not giving me any babies yet, so I don't know. Sometimes at the stem, it will look like it's going to have babies, but then it doesn't. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But I'm also gonna water this from the bottom. Okay, and then this one is considered a cash pot, but I wanted to show you that it's bursting from the seams. So also another way to tell if your plant is thirsty is if it has yellow leaves. I believe this is why it's yellowing. Also, my husband, this is the first plant that I ever got, houseplant, I mean, that I ever got. I'm gonna just turn this around and remove this yellow leaf so it's not in my way while I water. But funny story with this plant. My husband saw this outside. Yeah, I know. In the hot heat, not the band. He thought, my wife might like this. It's a plant. He also thought it was a succulent back then. And he saw the pot, it's white and gold. What is not to like with white and gold? And he thought to himself that I could either take the pot, throw out the plant because the plant kind of looked done for. It was wilting very, very badly. As you can imagine, it was underneath the sun for who knows how many hours. So I left the plant alone. I just left it inside the pot. And overnight, you guys, it perked right back up. And so I looked it up because I didn't know what this plant was. And I did a whole bunch of research. And now I have 50 million plants. So it's much like how I got into succulents when I saw that this one didn't die and perked back up. I thought to myself, houseplants can't be that bad. But anyways, yeah, that's the story to this pothos. I looked it up and found out that it was a golden pothos. As you can see here on this leaf, the little golden variegation that it has, it just reverted. It doesn't get enough sun to be gold, but whatever. I love this plant. This plant is near and dear to my heart, and it will forever be near and dear to my heart. Okay, you guys, so you guys pretty much know my routine now. So I'll come back if I need to say anything else about anything else, but anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and water all my plants now, and you're just gonna watch me, so enjoy. Also, with calathea, as you can see, this plant was thirsty because of how it's rolling up its leaves. It's kind of rolling up like a taquito. That's also a good indication that your plant is thirsty. And also, what you want to do is you want to be careful with this method in particular because this is a cash pot. You don't want to forget that you leave water inside the cash pot. You want to make sure that in about an hour or so that there is no water left in the catch pot, because if there is, that can also cause root rot. So you want to pick up your nursery pot, peek under there, see if there's no water left. If there is, obviously you want to dump it out. Also, I will periodically go back to the plants that I watered at first to see if there's any water left in the saucer. And then I will stick my finger in here to make sure that the topsoil is somewhat damp. And if it's dry, what I do is I just pour a little bit more water inside of the saucer, just so it gets the right amount of water. The dried leaves can also really attract pests, so you want to take those off as soon as you see them, and then look for pests while you're at it too. Okay, so now I'm taking all my other pots that don't have a decorative pot, catch pot, or a saucer, and I'm putting them by the sink to water, and we're gonna stick them inside the sink. Okay, so making sure that the soil is all dry, which I know they're dry because I haven't watered these plants in even double as long, I would want to say. So it's been 2 weeks for them. So we're just gonna douse them in water like so. So after that, I like to just leave them in here and kind of let them dry a little bit and have the water run out of the pot. I'm going to put the fertilizer and neem oil mix in here. I'll just pour a little bit in everybody. And this is going to get rid of any gnats if you have gnats. Anyways, you guys, that is how I water and fertilize my plants, and as well as add in some of the neem oil to ward off all the pests. I do have fungus gnats, and this really helps control that. So yeah, and I also don't really have trouble with mealybugs or aphids yet. So I just keep up on it, clean my leaves so that they're not dry and dusty, and I'll probably make a video about that too, about how I clean my leaves, even though there's a bunch of videos on the internet already showing you how to do this stuff. I just feel like everyone does it differently and they have their reasons why. Mine probably isn't the most practical way to water plants, but that's just how I do it right now, because I don't want to carry every single plant to my kitchen sink or the bathtub. I just don't want to do that. The saucers really help. The catch pots really help. I did make a mistake of drilling a lot of the holes inside of the catch pots, so yeah, they have to have saucers. This method of watering your plants first and then watering it with fertilizer really helped me not use so much fertilizer. I hope those tips helped you out in figuring out how you want to water your plants and how to know when to water your plants. Let me know down in the comment section how you like to water your plants. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there is a better way to watering your plants. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye.